If there's one thing Natalie Nunn can do, it is yell at a volume that pierces my ears through the television, so I can only imagine what it's like in person. It's like a violation. It's violent. Oh my God, just the volume of the yelling. What the hell? It's too much. I feel like I would be going crazy just over that. You can't talk that loud. You can't yell like that. But I think that's like her brand or something. So we are covering here at She's Speaking with Emily Hanks. We're covering The Mother-Daughter Experiment, which is streaming on Hulu. If you have not watched it in its entirety, I highly recommend, and then you can follow along with the recaps because I'm going through each episode and dissecting this madness that I cannot believe is a television show about therapy, you know? Also, correction, I believed in my last video, this show was absolutely a Lifetime show, and in every way I should have been able to figure that out, especially since the photo that I have used here and there for like content has a Lifetime logo on it. I swear, I am the worst detective. Like, these aren't even difficult to find clues. Slapping me in the face. It says Lifetime. And I'm over here going, maybe it's VH1? Oh, God, I swear, sometimes I just can't. I just can't. All right, let's get into episode 4, huh? Yeah. So Natalie is still on about Kim and saying her name. You said my name, whatever. And Kim is actually giving us classic Kim, like reality TV gold Kim, because she has a little bit in her interview where she goes, I didn't say her name. Did you say her name? I didn't say it. She's good. She's good. She's just very good. But Natalie's in the kitchen and she goes, these housewives doing their shit. These housewives, it's mayhem. It's just utter mayhem. Natalie goes into the confessional then with her mom, and it is on because Karen has been watching, hoping this would settle down. It's not settling down. And then Karen loses it. And she's like, because Natalie's screaming and yelling, and Karen goes, sit the fuck down. Then it goes off even further. And Natalie's yelling, I'm going to go home. I'm going to leave. I'm going to go home. Heidi has to go in there and pull Natalie away from her mom because she wasn't letting her mom get ready for bed, which is crazy. It feels like Natalie wasn't raised by her mom or something. Yeah. Kimberly and Cassie convinced Natalie somehow that no one said her name. And Courtney was also the one who was like, I totally heard her. I heard her say your name for sure. I heard Natalie. But Courtney's just like, whoops, thought I heard him say it. Sorry. So then it seems most people are going to bed. It's going to die down. But Jessica decides to join Natalie and Heidi for shots of Grey Goose. And Jessica is talking about how her Black boyfriends don't want her to suck their, and Josie comes into the kitchen. Josie is upset because once again, Jessica is partying with Heidi and Natalie, and they keep jabbering about fucking and they're twerking, and there's just no consideration whatsoever for the fact that Jody is uncomfortable. Jessica is taunting her, if you will. And Natalie loves fucking with Josie. I think Natalie's jealous of Josie. I'm not sure exactly what it is. It's maybe not jealous, but resentful. And then when later in the show, when Josie ends up Googling her and bringing up fighting on TMZ or whatever, I'm like, oh yeah, now you're fucked. Natalie already didn't like you, and now it's on. And Natalie's like, we don't want Josie to be mad that Jessica is hanging out with the grown-up. Sorry, Josie. Oh, okay. And this is where Jessica absolutely needs to be stepping in and going, you can't talk to my daughter like that. But no, that's not going to happen. Jessica is not going to do that. At the next day group session, the theme is airing out issues that they've been too afraid to deal with and sweeping under the rug. Well, here's the issue, though. Kim is late to group. I don't think we've seen her be late, though, to anything else, but maybe they just haven't included that because, again, the editing is horrendous on this show. Very, very, there's no real through line. They just like kind of like drop things here and there, or bring something up that we haven't seen. So everyone's waiting for Kim, and then Kim arrives. So Krista's up first. She has been sweeping under the rug. Quote, the real reason why I stopped being Courtney's manager. Once again, it's about business. And she rambles. And Dr. Deb tries to get her to make her point, but she's just rambling. The working conditions just weren't what I wanted. I couldn't work like that. And Courtney, poor thing, is like, I'm a little confused as to how this even relates. And Dr. Deb is like, okay, no problem. Krista, maybe explain it. Like, what have you been holding out on? What have you been sleeping under the carpet? Well, I just couldn't work that way. I don't want to be famous. I want to be successful. I feel like that's my right. Okay, I think this is what Dr. Deb says. I think what your mom is saying is that she wasn't as important anymore, and that hurt her. And now, mind you, this is after time lapses have gone by of Krista making no sense and Dr. Deb trying to be like, okay, get on the topic or whatever. But then even after Dr. Deb has like attempted to summarize it, I guess, Krista goes, that's what it took. That axe to break that umbilical cord. I think it took an axe. And they're like, okay, anyway, what? And they just move on to Courtney. No, because at this point, I'm like, Dr. Deb, don't you see? Krista's not all there. We got bigger issues here. This isn't, I know it's funny and silly TV, but like, stop pretending that this isn't happening right in front of you. Courtney says that what they have swept under the rug is that their mom never admits when she's wrong. And I find it fascinating that Courtney is able to even come up with like one specific thing that they've been sweeping under the rug. You know, that's a good broad stroke, I guess. But it's like, where else do we start here, Krista? Like, this isn't just your typical relationship. So Courtney explains that they've noticed a pattern where Krista doesn't take responsibility. And Krista goes, I take full responsibility for signing that paper. And I do apologize if it caused you any problems. Okay, that's a really like, okay. And then Courtney and Deb at the same time go, it's not about the paper. And Dr. Deb goes, I think a big issue is you don't listen, Krista. And Krista, who didn't listen, goes, she would call me and be like, you're going to do this and you're going to do. And Dr. Deb now gives up and starts laughing and says, unless I ask for details are out with you guys. You guys talk so much and say absolutely nothing. I'm afraid that you will deflect and never take responsibility. And somehow Krista seems to get it or something. There's some sort of, Krista seems to get something. I'm still not convinced Krista even knows what they're talking about. What Karen has swept under the rug is, Karen and Natalie, is the end of a 22-year relationship. Karen says that Natalie doesn't like it when she cries, and she'll just be like, what are you talking about? You're in a bad mood all the time. And they cut to an interview, like a talking head of Natalie, and she's like, I really hate when my mom gets emotional. It really irritates me. What will be interesting is how this unfolds later in the later episode when she realizes like why it makes her so annoyed. But we're not there yet because Natalie then starts repeating, I don't care about this. You're going to make me sit here and pretend, but I don't care. He's gone. You're a beautiful woman. I'm not going to sugarcoat this. I don't care. I don't care. Ugh, it's really rough. Dr. Deb is like, do you think it's a problem? And Natalie goes, I don't care. And Deb goes, you don't think it's a problem that you don't care that your mother is hurting? I don't think it's a problem. I don't. Oh, it's very upsetting. Natalie is she tries me. She tries me. Dr. Deb finally changes the direction and says, why do you think it's so hard for you to be there for your mother? And Natalie goes, well, I do think I make a lot of things about myself. And Deb goes, you think? And then says, you shut down when it doesn't have to do with you. She's a person with feelings. And then she also reminds her, you were weeping over your mama's grave. Remember that? Hoping that you don't, like, sorry you take her for granted and all that stuff. Remember that? Remember that? Okay. Kimberly has been sweeping under the rug her grandma. I'm like, oh my God, we're going to talk about Big Kathy. I'm here. I'm present. I'm seated. Kimberly says, my grandma is a sensitive topic for you. I know my mom took care of her. She was the only one to really take care of her. Now, I thought that was an interesting line. I was like, ooh, what do Kyle and Kathy feel about that narrative? I wonder how they feel about that being what Kimberly thinks. She goes, I watched you really upset, and I think some of our relationship stems from your relationship with her. And Deb goes, what specifically do you see play out between your mom and her mom? Kimberly says, I take care of you in a completely different way than you did for your mom. You took care of the family. I support you emotionally, but you physically took care of everything for your mom. Yours was much more dramatic. And thank God Deb steps in and goes, why are you minimizing your feelings here? This leads to a breakthrough for Kimberly. And that's that she doesn't have to be the one to calm her mom down. She can let her get worked up if she wants to. But I also think that the breakthrough could have been for Kim to realize how much Kimberly diminishes her own experience, because I'm sure Kim is always going, I took care of my mom. I took care of my whole family. You want to know how it feels? I went through it even worse. And that's not good. I kind of wish that they'd gone on that side too. It is important for Kimberly to know she doesn't need to constantly protect her mom, but it is also important for Kim to realize you're creating this as well, you know? If you are looking for your next favorite non-alcoholic beverage, look no further than Hop Water. Hop Water is a non-alcoholic sparkling hop water, obviously, that blends hops with adaptogens and nootropics. So these ingredients are known to have mood-boosting benefits. But, people say that, but until you try it, and I don't know if it's just in my head, but I really feel happier, less stressed, I guess. So, hey, adaptogens, nootropics. Hop water is crafted without alcohol, without calories, without carbs, without gluten, without sugar. And all the flavors are delicious, like the mango, the lime. But my favorite is the ruby red grapefruit. Cannot get enough of that one. I took some hop water to a Memorial Day party, and I've got a bunch of people hooked. Right now, Hop Water is giving my listeners a special offer. Order through my exclusive URL, hopwtr.com/she-speaks. Get 20% off your first purchase, plus access to special flavors that are only available online. And free shipping when you order 24 cans or more. Don't wait. Order now at hopwtr.com/she-speaks for 20% off. hopwtr.com/she speaks. It is officially sundress season. And you know who does great sundresses? Jenny Kane. They would, wouldn't they? Because Jenny Kane is a California brand through and through. They do minimalist, effortless, yet luxurious fashion. You can mix and match all of their staples. They design everything at Jenny Kane to become a uniform. It makes getting dressed so much easier, Their Riviera slip dress is the perfect summer dress for me. I just ordered it in the cheetah print because I would. But I also ordered the cropped cashmere cocoon cardigan because I'm thinking I'll wear that Riviera slip dress during the day. And then when it gets a little chilly at night, throw on my cropped cardigan. Jenny Kane is known for their sweaters, by the way. They do super luxe yet lightweight sweaters that are perfect for spring and summer vibes. They do that relaxed knit better than anyone. The Cooper cardigan is so cute with its button accents, very flattering silhouette. It's a great layer for the cooler evenings or, if you go into air conditioning. Now, let's say you're going on vacation and you need something a little luxurious to add to your vacation wardrobe. I have been loving the Flynn cashmere sweater because it's so versatile. So it's the perfect piece to pack in your suitcase. And don't forget shoes. The Eve sandal is everything you could want in a classic spring shoe. It pairs well with any seasonal outfit. Jenny Kane believes in the art of simplicity, so they focus on comfort, quality, and timeless design. So you can curate a wardrobe that never goes out of style. They also, by the way, have a stunning collection of home essentials like furniture pieces, cozy pillows and throws, perfectly curated decor, and the most incredible candles. Plus, they have a rewards program where you can earn up to 10% back with every purchase, and joining is completely free. Find your new uniform at jennykane.com. Our listeners get 15% off your first order when you use code SHESPEAKS at checkout. That's 15% off your first order at JENNIKAYNE.com. Promo code SHESPEAKS. Let getting dressed be one less thing to worry about. Embrace your summer aesthetic with Jenny Kane. Over to Heidi and Darlene. Heidi has been sweeping under the rug that her mom doesn't like Spencer. Darlene's like, well, I've wanted to talk to Spencer, but Heidi goes, yeah, no, he just doesn't want to have like deep conversations. He doesn't do that with his family. Heidi, without missing a beat in her talking head, says, I would absolutely choose Spencer over my mom. Oh, goddamn. Goddamn. I mean, well, look, they're still together. If finding someone to match your freak, that is what they have done with the two of them. Darlene has been sweeping under the rug that Heidi's TV personality doesn't match who she actually is. Heidi was so funny here, though. She goes, I'm multifaceted. I'm not just nice Heidi all the time. And I want you to love me no matter what. Now, she's not wrong. She's not wrong. And I honestly probably should go back and rewatch The Hills because everyone seems to be on a Hills kick lately. And I don't remember it, to be honest. Once I found out that the storylines were fake, I was like, fuck this stupid show. But I do need to revisit because I forgot what Heidi did exactly. And I need to be reminded. Now, it is when Heidi says this, Dr. Deb goes, oh my God, Heidi, have you not been your true self because your mom is here? And she's like, yeah. But then Kim steps in and goes, yeah, Kimberly's always telling me to shin stuff too. And Deb's like, oh, no. We need to be making much better television than that. So you guys stop holding him back. Let him bring more drama to the show. All right, session is over. And after the session, Shar pulls Krista aside and asks, how was it to have your 16-year-old daughter marry a grown man? And Krista goes, well, I thought an older man could take care of her better. And he taught acting classes. So he started teaching her on the internet. And that's where the 10 questions a day came in. And they were all career questions. One of the questions was, though, do you ever think you're going to get married? Now, of course, the music and the tone is like humorous during this. And Chris is like, I just felt like he was the right person for her. And you know what? They're still together. And Char's trying to figure this out. She's like, so he was on a mission looking for love. And Krista goes, yes, he was on a mission looking for someone. He did ask me out first. How many times has she said this? He goes, hey, I'm here in Hollywood by myself. I said, you're a cute little guy, but I'm married. He sounded really sad. I mean, he seemed really lonely. Yeah. Then though, after they got married, that's when things got, He was coming to me going, "I really like talking with you because you're way more my age." Um, okay. He was like really crying on my shoulder, going, "Krista, help me, please help me. I don't know what to do. You mean so much to me. I'm so happy I have this emotional support." And I was like, "I'll be there for you. I'll be here for you." Ugh. Shar is in her interview going, she's basically telling everybody that she cheated with her daughter's husband. And Krista goes, I mean, he literally came over to my apartment one time and just laid there and cried. And I was like, wow, this is really, I don't know about that. And then thank God, Shar, with all the sense, she goes, well, you weren't supposed to be doing this. Krista. And then he goes, you know what? I really love you. And I said, oh, I love you too. And Shar goes, okay, as her mom, that was not your place to do that. And you are 110% responsible for that. Okay? She feels betrayed and she needs you to take ownership of that moment. Okay? It would be a real quick turnaround. And Krista goes, I don't know if we're ever going to repair the damage that has been done. Probably not, honestly. Probably not. But they do seem to be okay. Courtney and their mom, I saw a picture on the Instagram. I think they were wearing matching necklaces. Heidi, Natalie, and Jessica are chatting about how frustrating it is that Kim has been keeping them waiting. And Heidi's just drunk enough and decides to go confront Kim. Sure does. Heidi knocks on Kim's door. Kim opens it. And Heidi goes, I know you have had a lot going on, but we should all make sure we're there on time in the morning because I feel like we've been waiting. Now, you see, this is Kim's like button. It happened on Beverly Hills where she kept everybody waiting constantly. This is like a narrative Kim is afraid of. So she immediately pounces. I haven't missed the therapy session in the morning. This morning, honestly, I didn't know if I was staying. I mean, if you're asking about breakfast, have you been waiting for me? Heidi goes, yeah, we all have. And Kim says, where? And Heidi just shuts down because I don't think she thought this through enough. Because that's why I said in the top of the episode, like, are we getting this a lot? Like we did see Kim nearly leave before. And I feel like maybe that makes sense that whatever. And Kim goes, well, we were not the last people. So before you come to me with a camera, get your stuff checked. And Heidi, you're so fucked. She's like, well, there wasn't a camera with me when I came down. And Kim just looks around like, well, it's with you now. And then closes the door. And I can't tell if it's Kim or Heidi that goes, bitch. But Kim is not fucking done. As Kimberly says, oh boy, you'd better back up, Heidi. Because Kim goes up to Heidi and confronts her and says, I personally didn't like what you just did to me in that room. I feel like you were looking for trouble there. And I think what Kim means there is you're looking for a little camera moment with me, aren't you? Heidi just flounders and apologizes, but also says well, I'm trying to communicate, like we're learning to do. But Natalie, who was totally hyping up Heidi, steps in and sides with Kim. Reminds her that, well, I mean, because Kim was like, let's not forget the first night, Heidi. You kept us waiting because, Heidi was all sick and stuff. And Natalie's like, yeah, I mean, I do remember that. Like the first night, like you did hold us all up. Heidi then has to apologize again. And Kim walks away victorious. And Heidi just starts calling Natalie, you're a switch teamer. You're a switch teamer, Natalie. You're a switch teamer. For their evening exercise, they have to build a vanity, but only one person does the building and the other person gives instructions, verbal instructions. And it's honestly it's kind of everyone is doing exactly what you would expect of them. But Karen is being so absurdly mean to Natalie. It's kind of confusing. It's like, shut up. You shut up. Just sound like Natalie has to deal, or I'm sorry, Karen has some rage issues. I'm like, so maybe this is where Natalie gets it. Okay. Shar and Cassie crush it. They win. They make it look easy. The music is so funny during this segment, though, because they're using like the same suspenseful music that they use on like the challenge, but they're just putting together a Vanity. So after the exercise, they're hanging in the house, and Natalie is asking Courtney questions like, "What's the sex like between you guys?" And Courtney goes, "It's good." And Natalie is like, "So you were having good sex when you were 16?" And Courtney goes, "Well, yeah, actually, that's like why at 19 we separated because I was too young at the time. You know, I was going out, I was partying." And then this shocks Natalie and as myself as well. Because Natalie's like, "Wait, did you hook up with other men?" And Courtney goes, "Of course." And Natalie's like, "But then why does your mom say I'm worried about this man? He's controlling my daughter?" Because in the beginning, that's what she was saying. And Courtney goes, "When I fell in love with my husband, I wanted to take care of my mother emotionally. And Doug said, 'This is going to hurt because I know how much you love your mom, but she is betraying you in ways that I can't allow her to.'" Then Courtney explains how Krista would come into the kitchen and find ways to touch his hand. And Doug would say, "Stop it. That is your daughter." And she'd be like, "I know, but I feel what my daughter feels. I love you so much." Well, so for this, the reason this is important is because Krista's trying to frame it like his word against her word. But Courtney's like, "I saw it with my eyes. I saw this." And I, Courtney says Krista would say, "My water just isn't being watered by my husband, or my garden isn't being watered by my husband, and I just love you." Yeah, okay, shut it down. Shut it down, Dr. Deb. Shut it down. A producer comes in and pulls them for interviews, and Courtney has a talking head before they go into the interview and says, "Natalie's made me realize that my mom and I have never had a healthy relationship. And I'm angry and I can't spare her feelings anymore." And I'm like, yeah, see, that's what's sad about this is that the therapist in this group has thought that they could like salvage this relationship. But Natalie's like, "I don't think this is normal, period." And Courtney's like, "You're right. You're right. It's not." Yeah, you'd think the therapist here on staff could help him figure this out. The next shot is Krista yelling, "You're going to have to forgive me." And they're fighting in the interview and the whole house is listening. And Courtney is yelling, "I've been so scared to confront you on this." And Krista goes, "I'm not moving on. She wants to control every aspect of my life." What? What are you talking about? Krista's like, "I'm leaving." And Courtney goes, "Go home. Go home." Krista, "I'm calling a car. I've admitted that I was emotionally attached to her husband. I told your husband that I loved him, okay? I've admitted that, but there's a bunch of stuff." And Courtney's like, "That is the first time I've heard her say that." They show more of this scene, but then they pick it up again in season 5 with like a full version of what happened. So I'll save the rest of what happens in this scene for next episode because I was actually kind of surprised by how much they cut it together. And then they showed so much more of it in the next one. I was like, well, they should have just cut it, been like to be continued. Although let's not do to be continued. We all know it's to be continued. You're doing another episode. We know it's to be continued. Bravo. Looking at you. So, all right, there's the end of another insane episode. Jesus Christ. All right. I'll see you next time for the next round of crazy. Bye, guys. Thanks for tuning in to She's Speaking with Emily Hanks. This show is produced, hosted, and edited by me, Emily, and brought to you in partnership with Cloud 10 Media. If you are looking for bonus content, check out the Patreon. The link is in the description. To show some support, you can hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss an episode. Another free way to support the pod, please rate and/or review on whatever platform you listen. It's free, and it helps the algorithm or something. You can also head to buymeacoffee.com/shespeaks and buy me a coffee or two. Make sure you're following me on all social medias. I am She's Speaking with Emily Hanks across all platforms: Threads, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook. That's it. Thank you guys. See you soon.